I came up with a question, should prostitution be legal? But it looks a lot like a proposal question. It starts with the word should. However, I need to look at why I'm asking this question. What kind of answers would this question look for? It looks like they're looking for why. Why should it be legal? And so that doesn't make it a good proposal question. This is more of an evaluation question. An evaluation argument answers the question, why? It's not going to be a very good argument if I don't determine the premise. What are the things about the issue that we all agree on? If you don't have values that you share with your audience, well, you have a pseudo argument. And we don't want that. That's not a real argument. So we need to find things that we all value. What do we all value? We can probably all agree that it is dangerous to both the clients and the workers, that it does provide some income. It also promotes sex, that is the business, but it's the kind of sex. It promotes premarital and extramarital sex very often. And some people might even say that that's what makes it immoral, but that's not necessarily an issue everybody agrees on. All right, so we do have our premise. Okay, so you got your premise now. We know what we agree on, but we have to disagree on stuff. So what do we do next, Mrs. Q? I've already asked you to include your premise, all right? And we've gone over that. The other two things in your introduction are going to be your essay map and, of course, your thesis. Okay, and this is going to be pretty much the same for all of them. The body needs to have your 2 points and your counter arguments. Those 2 points are what go in your essay map. The counter arguments are what proves that you are indeed writing about an argument. A is going to be my first reason. What's my first reason that we ought to legalize prostitution? The first thing I thought of was it's a great income opportunity for women. It sort of balances out the wage gap a little bit if you make it legal. What I really need now here is to list either a couple of ways that it improves the income or some reasons that it does that. First of all, I'm going to mention that we have a wage gap. But I'm also going to need to support that with evidence. I'm going to need to provide a source and some evidence. Okay, and then the second reason is that it's a pretty easy opportunity. What I mean is that they can start in different places. There are different opportunities. There's secretary. You can work your way up to management. And there's not much discrimination. Reason 2 has to do with safety. If we make it legal, it will become safer from government, through government regulations. Okay. Now we come to counter arguments. This is where you talk about the reasons people would disagree with you. It's what makes it an argument. And you've got to make sure you get good, solid ones. Counter arguments, you have to show that you found those with research. You have to look into it. You can't make stuff up on your own or presume anything, because sometimes we tend to have what's called a straw man argument when you present stuff that's just made up or that's really weak. That's called a straw man. Have I told you how I feel about straw man arguments? I don't like them. So here's where you're going to put the first counter argument that you find, and here will be where you put the second. And down here, this is for your rebuttals. This is where you get the last word. And you can do this a couple of ways. You can put these two together and then do your rebuttal for both of them, or you can have this argument and then this rebuttal, this argument, and then a rebuttal. It doesn't really matter. But I do want you to have two strong counter arguments and then rebuttals. The other thing you can do is after you've had your rebuttals, you can add your little extras. Anything else that you wanted to add to your argument that you didn't have a chance to do up here. And here is my completed sample outline for an evaluation argument.